Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome
Hey,
back to another episode of the Angler's Prescription. Um, guys, congrats to Donald Bailey, the winner of the Bioenno Power giveaway. He's got a brand new battery getting shipped out to him. So, congrats to you, buddy. I hope your travels are safe and your move goes well. I know you're heading across the country right now, so
well, from the looks of a post earlier, I didn't get to dive into it, but I guess he had kind of an adventure getting back across the country there. So,
yeah, I texted him last night and asked how I was going. He's like, "Oh, I'm going to bed. There's a storm coming. As I'll talk to you later." So it sounded like it was
yeah,
one of those days. So,
well,
um, but yeah, we're gonna be joined here in a little bit by Alex Niapas. He won the BAM Pro Am event up at Shasta. Took third place last weekend for the Juan Bass. Caught a
wasn't it 9?
9:14.
Yeah,
I don't
it
remember
was
exactly what it was.
it was up there.
Yeah, he had a couple 21-pound bags, 22-pound bags, or whatever it was. Man, let's just jump into that, guys. So, last weekend was the Wombass. There was multiple 20-pound bags weighed in over there. Over the 3 days, it took over 50 pounds to win, which is insane for Shasta.
Yeah,
Saturday at Clear Lake, there was an AVA that took 36 pounds, I believe, to win that one, and 34 and some change was third place. So there's some big fish being caught right now. I don't know if it's just the influx of the water that we got over this last storm. We got another storm coming this week here tomorrow night and Thursday. So I'd if you guys are getting ready to go out and go fishing, man, I guess saying now's the time to go. But I'm not gonna keep him waiting. Let's go bring in Alex. Oh, turn to the other way. There you go. What's up,
Yeah,
bud?
nope,
I
he
don't
had
know
it the
what
right
to
way.
do.
There you go. There you go.
Here we go. Here.
There we
How you
go.
guys doing?
Good,
Hey,
man. How are
good. How are
you?
you, Alex?
Not bad. Got low tech here.
Yeah, it's okay. That is fine.
Hey,
How are
man.
you
Thanks
doing?
for jumping on the show tonight.
Yeah, no problem.
So you had quite the wild couple weekends there back to back, huh?
Yeah, that's pretty. I'm feeling it right now.
Oh, I bet. A little
Pretty
worn
beat
out.
up.
Yeah, it wears you down.
It's hard to catch those 9 pounders out of Shasta and not be sore afterwards, huh?
Yeah, it's those days where you rent a house and the bed's not quite the same, and you don't sleep as
Oh,
good.
yeah, I hear you. That's every time we go on vacation. It's like, oh, I don't want to stay here. It sucks.
Well,
Ready to go
let's
home.
be real, Alex. Have you ever really slept really good before tournaments?
Sometimes I have, but yeah. When you had like 5 years ago when I had like a going in with a 25-pound lead, I did.
Yeah.
That
Other
kind
than
of
that,
settles things a little bit.
no.
Yeah. So let's back it up to. I want to get into that 9 pounder, but we're going to do that here in a little bit. Let's back up to the BAM event. So
Yeah.
that was 2 weekends ago now. Um, how many days of pre fishing did you get? How comfortable were you feeling going into the tournament? Let's jump into that.
Yeah, I was going up there on and off to Fish Phil's tournament with Clara, and I was kind of, not the first tournament we fished up there. It was like in November, and we got on a good swim bait bite, and it just didn't line up. I lost like five or six really big ones that would have won the tournament easily, but um, uh, just one of them. If I would have caught one, we would have won. It was one of those tournaments where it just didn't work, and then so and so before the tournament, I only had the 2 days official practice days of practicing, and I kind of struggled the majority of the the tournament or pre-fishing. So at the end of pretty much at the end of the final day of practice, I found a spot where they were biting swim bait. I said, well, that's where I'm going to start. And started there. And immediately the first cast I got bit, missed it. And second cast I caught like I forget, it was 3/8 spot, almost over 3.5. And then next cast I caught a largemouth that's 4.5. So, and I kind of left that spot. I knew there was a lot more fish there, and I just left it and tried to get a limit. And
Mhm.
So are you throwing a sneaky swim bait up there? Is it
yeah,
something special?
it's a new bait that's going to come out later this summer.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a prototype, and
Can you
it's
say what company or no?
a hog hunter.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a hog hunter swim bait.
Nice. So is that your go-to wintertime technique up there for Shasta, throwing big baits?
Yeah, yeah. I
Okay.
like the. I mean, you can't get on a glide bait bite there, but the conditions have to be lined up with the wind um, and then the fish being up shallow. But I know in practice in this last tournament, a lot of people were catching them on the S waiver.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, but
So is it a line through by chance, or is it a top
yeah,
hook?
it's a line through.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a line through weedless system.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, there's no exposed hooks. Literally, it just looks like a trout swimming along and
Yeah.
and you just tie it to a 5/0 Gamakatsu straight shank hook, and um, literally, and it has a magnet. And I don't know, I've been playing with it, tying a snail knot and then just tying a regular Palomar. And
Mhm.
I kind of like just the regular Palomar. I mean, that snail knot helps it pop out when you set the hook on a fish, but I find that um, just with the Palomar knot, you get less. You get times where you cast it, and if you try to slow it up or something, if you're going at the bank, the hook pops open and exposes itself. So
Okay.
I've been tying just the Palomar.
And what kind of line size and what rod are you throwing that on?
I throw it on anywhere between 7 to 20,
Okay.
but there's no cover around. I'll use 17, but there's a lot of cover, rocks, beating on rocks. I'll go to 20.
Okay. So you're dragging that thing on the bottom slow then.
Not necessarily, yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes you can. It's a it's a different bait. You have to get used to it because it's a line through and it likes to rise up at an angle.
Mhm.
And yeah, and it's an interchangeable weight system. You could add weights, and it has a long channel, and you could adjust it, and play with it.
No, that's cool.
Fine
That
tune.
should be
That
So
is pretty cool.
you don't have to buy a bunch of two slow sinks and two heavies. You literally have a bait. You could do whatever you want with it.
heck yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now,
That,
are you what do you consider yourself a pretty deep? Like, do you fish swim baits pretty deep? Is that your normal, or like
You know,
what's your style?
it's most of the time they're fairly shallow.
Hmm.
Uh, if they're going to feed, they're going to be up shallow. That's kind of my theory. Um,
okay.
and, sometimes you could catch them out in that 20 to 40 range, but most of the times it's 8 to 15.
Yeah.
So Drew is another big bait connoisseur. Is it a cadence thing that you're doing with it, or is it
Mm.
what's the trigger?
I not nothing. The spots don't seem to like any reaction to it or any different. like a largemouth does. Spot's just like a slow, steady retrieve.
Okay.
Mhm.
So what was your? I'm sorry, I forgot to take a look at all the weights. What was your big bag on during the BAM tournament? Wise.
It was 1805, I think, on the final
Okay.
day. Yeah.
So what do you? You had multiple 21 and some change pound over during last weekend at Wombass.
Yeah.
So what? You think it was the rain and the weather we had, the water coming up that got that bite better, or what do you think changed enough to have?
Yeah. They were during that ban or before that dam. They were actually dropping the water to uh, to mix storage.
Okay.
And then it came up, and then it dropped it down like 8 or 9 feet. And then it was kind of stable. And then I think it was just the difference was the rising water and frothing
Okay.
that
Yeah,
time.
because
I
that.
think it was that time where in February when the fish kind of new fish just showed up and um, decided that's they. I know the weather wasn't right, but sometimes they go on just daylight and calendar year. They know it's
Mhm.
time to come up to get ready to spawn and feed up.
Yeah, because it was crazy. I mean that many
Yeah,
Oh, did we freeze? I think he froze there
50-pound
out there.
bags at Shasta over 3 days. That was wild. Like that was that were caught out of Shasta. Over 3 days was crazy for the
yeah,
Wombass.
yeah. There was a lot of sixes and sevens. A lot of the coes were catching the big ones.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So another question: so, what structures are you looking for when you throw the swim baits, or are you just throwing them all day?
No, it all varies. I kind of just try to rock, um, any rock or trees. Um, main lake points is always a good bet. And
Now, I know you talked about the hog hunter. Obviously, is a line through. It's a soft bait. You talked about guys. We're catching them on the glides. Um, what do you find is a difference as far as when you're going to pick up a glide as opposed to throwing the soft swim bait?
uh, to me, I think the glide is more vertical structure. It works better. Uh, they like steeper walls, trees. The kind of bridge pilings that seems to work better on steeper stuff. That's my
Okay. Okay. Is it a wind thing too? You think you had a little bit of chop in
yeah.
the water, right?
The wind is the key. The wind is a must. I think in clear water. If you get in dirtier water, that makes it more conducive too. You don't need as much wind
Yeah.
with a glide.
So how blown out was Shasta last weekend with that much water, or is it still relatively clean?
You know, the arm I was in, I didn't hit all the arms, but um, it's real temperamental. It's like certain creeks that have more sediment or something, that fed into the main river channel that would it'd be dirty in one spot and and across the way in another creek that comes in it's clean
Okay.
cleaner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll jump back to BAM. Are you fishing? What are you fishing with BAM this year? The All Pro Ams? Are you doing the
Yeah.
Super 60? Right.
Yeah, I'm just doing the pro-ams this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
And well, you got a good start on AOY, right?
Yeah. Got a tough start.
It's a great way to start. And that's cool. Shasta's kind of your jam too, though, right? You like it up there. You fish it quite a bit.
Yeah. Yeah. It
So,
seemed to just lined up to me and it kind of learned a lot about it pretty fast.
Would you consider it your home lake, or is that not quite, or
Nah, not quite.
not quite?
Yeah, I would say Maloney's and Pedro are my home lake.
Yeah. Well, not so much Maloney's anymore, right?
Yeah, I haven't hit Maloney's in like since they closed it.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not going through that charade, you know.
No.
Mm-mm.
That's what sucks, man. 'Cause there's, I mean, like any
Well, they
tournament on
shut.
Berryessa,
They just shut Tolik down today.
oh, did they
Yeah.
really?
Yeah, Tolik shut down today.
They follow the same guidelines as Maloney's, or what are they doing?
I don't know. I
It?
don't think many people know. It was some writing write up or something on My Motherload or something, and it said that it's closed down to boat traffic till further notice. So
Yeah.
you know,
Oh, they got so many boats that are on the lake already. Those guys aren't going anywhere anyway. You know,
Yeah.
people that live there.
yeah,
That's a bummer, man. I'm just hoping they finally figure it out. You know, because I
Yeah.
was up at Clear Lake on Saturday talking to Jimmy, the owner of Clear Lake Bait and Tackle,
Yeah.
and it's so hard because there's, you know, a lake like Clear Lake, there's so many ramps,
Yeah.
and all these guys have their own private ramps at their houses, and you know,
Yeah. You freak out.
he froze up again.
somebody
Oh, there
sit
he is.
and wait for, you know, somebody coming up with a boat to inspect it. You know,
Yeah.
so I'm
No.
kind of curious to see what's going to happen. You know, so far they've been good up there. You know,
Yeah. No.
but
I wish if that 30-day waiting period, that's kind of a no go for me. I wish they would have just adopted the Berryessa deal. You know, you
Yeah.
get your boat clean, then go fishing. You know?
and the problem is
Well,
those
and the
large
other
lakes are
problem with
holding, you know, like Maloney's here, 4:30, they're gone.
Yeah.
You know, and
yeah,
if you miss the
8 to 4.
Ranger by 2 minutes, then you're screwed.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know, and the Maloney's band. I don't know if it's, you know, Maloney's bands, are they honored at Berryessa? You take a Berryessa band to Maloney's. You know,
No.
until that all starts getting figured out and everybody's on the same page, it's going to be impossible to fish some of these fisheries.
No. It's a yeah. That's a kind of it's hard to deal with some of these guys that you know come up with these ideals, whoever it is. It's
Yeah.
yep,
kind of
And if you're like me, I'm not parking my boat for 30 days. I'm gonna go fish somewhere that I can go fish.
yes, exactly. That's
You know,
kind of my deal. I didn't even entertain the thought.
no,
Yeah,
go
but
through withdrawals.
yeah, we got at least
Kids must be sucking up all my internet tonight.
At least on Pedro and McClure's fishing good, so that's
yeah. Those I was out at Pedro this last week, and I'll tell you, those fish are starting to fatten up, and their guts are hard.
filling
So
up. Yeah,
yeah, I give it another. If we get a week of great freaking weather, those fish are going to be moving up.
yeah, yeah,
So we're gonna jump into Pedro because you're getting ready to fish there at the end of the month. I don't want you to give up any of your juice, but let's go back to that 9 pounder. So that was day 2, right?
yeah.
Long bass.
Yeah,
So you had, oh man, what was your bag on day 1? 15?
no, I had like 790.
17? 7?
I had 796 on day 1, and it was in like 115th place.
Okay, that's right. Yes. Okay. So
Yeah,
then you have a 21 and some change,
yeah, 2189.
anchored by 914.
Yeah, 9 pound. Yeah, yeah, 9 pound.
So yeah, let's talk about that thing. What are you live scoping?
Not really. No, I'm not. I scope around, but that fish I didn't scope. It was up in probably 5 or 6 feet of water.
Oh wow.
Yeah, literally. I usually when I target before I get on a spot like a point on a swim bait area, I'll throw a Cinco out in like 18 to 20, and usually I could catch some decent fish before I throw a swim bait on it. And I
Now, are you
tried.
doing that? Are you doing that so you're not drawing the fish off of the structure
Yeah,
before
I
you
kind
swim
of. I
bait,
just
right?
wanted to. It was early in the day, and I only had like one fish in the box, and I first cast I throw up there and get bit on the Cinco and fight it to the boat, and it was a 4.5, and I was like, oh, cool. So after that, I was like, let me make a cast up shallow with the Cinco, and I threw it up there and was shaking it and got it hung up a little bit and popped it off, and I let it sink to the bottom, and after I went to lift up on it, I couldn't find my bait, and I just started reeling and set the hook. And it literally felt like I set into a log. It just did nothing. The
I
rod
can
just
only imagine.
Are you throwing the Senko wacky? You doing a Texas rig, or what are you doing?
Yeah, it was a wacky.
9-pounder on Shasta throwing a wacky Senko. That's amazing. That's awesome. So did you get any more fish off that one spot, or was that like a two and a done?
Yeah, we caught a bunch of two. After that, we caught some 213s, 212s. We filled out a limit. We ran around and never. It was a real narrow window where they'd come up. It was like literally if you were there, and they were up there for like maybe 20, 30 minutes, but
Look, yeah, short by window then.
yeah.
That's crazy. So seven some change day one, 21, almost 22 pounds on day two, followed by another monster bag on day three.
Yeah.
So what clicked between day two and day one that made you get almost identical bag on day three?
I kind of um, I didn't throw the swim bait as much on day two. I kind of just I started throwing the Cinco a little more, and we started on the spot where I caught the 9 on day three, and um, we caught a bunch of fish, but they were 2.5s. Nothing giant. I caught one 3.5, and then my scale broke, and I was kind of in limbo. I didn't know, what the fish were, what what we were weighing. So we went to another spot, and we got into them pretty good there. And I lost two giants that would have probably on the Cinco that would have probably would have won the tournament. To be honest, it was their big ones. They both popped off the Cinco, and then I got tired of that, and I threw that down. And obviously, there's big ones here, and I threw a swim bait out and catch a 4.5. And next cast, I catch a 588, which was my biggest on day three. And,
so 790 something day one and 115th, you said?
something like that. I didn't look at it.
So guys, he came back and he finished third. It had a chance to win the Wombass on Shasta. So it just tells you anything can happen on these multi-day tournaments, right?
Yeah.
Like, you always got to keep your head into it. You always got to grind it out because, he was after day one probably not too happy, and then day two rolls around, and day three rolls around, and there he is cutting a nice little check for himself and taking third place. Like that's amazing.
It was kind of a weird feeling I had after day one. I was just, I didn't think about it or nothing. I just put it in the past.
Yeah. So I mean, how do you go from the weekend before catching 17 pounds on BAM, and winning that tournament to you obviously felt good coming into the Wombass event, I'm sure. Like what I know mentally is like your mentality and the mental game of fishing is a huge part of it. How did you shake that after day one to go back and do what you did?
Yeah, it's just a weird. I just put it past me and I didn't even think about it.
Okay.
In my mind, I didn't think I was possible to win it after that. My goal was just to catch the biggest bags and see where I fall and get a check. That was my goal.
Okay.
And after day two, I was like, okay, I jumped to six, and my goal is to get second place. I thought I was too far behind and never had a chance to win it, so I just went out there and fished. It's hit all.
You,
Once I got dialed into how the fish were moving up for minutes, I just knew I had to hit a bunch of good spots, and I'll eventually run into them and catch them.
you feel like you're fishing more freely
Yeah,
after day one as opposed to being, leading a tournament after day one?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. You're more relaxed. There's no pressure, and I just pretty much went pre-fishing. Um,
Mhm.
it's kind of how you.
Yeah.
And then I had my day two. I drew my kind of good luck charm, Jacob. Jacob Crawford. Every time I draw him, we usually do well, and so that helps.
That's cool. You
That's pretty
got a
cool.
going, by now is your good luck charm.
Yeah, every time it's kind of that way.
That's
So,
awesome. Are you going to fish the other one opens
yeah,
up here?
I'm gonna check. I'm definitely gonna do the Clear Lake one, and then I wanted to do the U.S. Open, but um, we got to see about the if I draw anything during hunting season. It's always during elk season or something.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
make sure I don't
Well,
draw anything. If I don't, I'll fish the U.S. Open.
I mean, if you get drawn, you got to go. I mean, that's a
Yeah,
must. That's
yeah,
a must.
yeah. That's my passion is elk hunting.
Nice.
So
Where do you got,
I usually go to Idaho.
I don't, okay.
Yeah, that's
That's
my.
the
Gun
one
or
thing.
bow?
I do both. I like
You
with
do.
the bow. My archery's more fun when they're
Yeah.
when they're
That's
fusing.
that's wild to get that close to the elks that's takes some talent, man,
They're
for
pretty
sure.
clever. They're clever animals. The more I hunt them, it's not like a deer. They have I don't know. They seem like they have a sixth sense.
Yeah,
Hmm.
Yeah,
that'd be fun. I have yet to go elk hunting. That's on my bucket list.
yeah. It's fun.
Heck yeah. So up next for you is Pedro, right?
Yeah, Don Pedro.
So that's coming up at the end of the month.
Yeah,
And then so you're looking right now.
yeah. I'm gonna
Well, not
start.
yet. Almost. Almost. You got to get past Shasta and get all dried out and everything all situated again. And
Yeah, yeah. I had to take my boat to CNC today and drop it off, and had some issues with my steering. The
oh,
motors, those old Yamahas, kind of sink down and rub against some of the steering components,
Okay.
and so they're replacing all that.
and what boat do you run?
I got a Skeeter
Okay,
20.
nice.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
bought that new 2007,
hey,
and it's getting old.
that's what I got. Oh 07. I can't
Yeah,
go wrong with it. It's a good boat, man.
they're good boats. It. How many years is that now? Uh,
Almost 20. It's
18 years old.
18 years old. Yeah.
18 years old.
Yeah, yeah, it's an old boat, and
Yeah, that's
I
good.
can't seem to justify paying $90,000 to $100,000 for a new boat.
Oh, I know.
It's not.
Just got to get you in a
They
kayak.
still are nice, but I don't think they're worth it. I put it that way.
Yeah,
Would
that's a
would
lot of
you
money.
would you step foot in a kayak and fish kayak tournament?
I did once.
Yeah, I think you did with Clara, didn't you?
Yeah.
What'd you think of
Did it
that?
once. And it's kind of hard. I did. I don't mind going out in the ocean and catching fish, to eat, but bass fishing, I get frustrated with it, not being able to line up perfectly and having a short window.
Not be able to hit 60 miles an hour and go to your next spot?
Yeah, the short window of your cast, before you have to reposition.
Yeah.
It's
Well, I mean, nowadays we got spot lock, we've got, all kinds of goodies on the kayaks, so
I
it makes
know.
it a little easier.
Yeah, I don't have that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are you gonna so you got Pedro and then it's
Clear Lake.
Clear Lake for Juan,
Yeah.
which that one, man, I want to fish that so bad, but I'm going on vacation that Saturday. And
Uh,
there's no way I could take 3 days off on top of that and go fish that thing.
yeah. Yeah. It should be a good time. Clear Lake is pumping out a bunch of big ones still. It's just, uh,
Hmm.
guys are catching 36 pounds and their big fish is like a 789, It's just,
Yeah, because Claire held the AVA up there on Saturday
yeah. Do you freeze
night, and
again?
they had 36 was the win.
Yeah. 36
Man,
won.
this stupid internet.
35 was second. 35 and a half was second. And third was 34 and a half. It was just, and 30 pounds didn't even get a check.
That's insane.
Jeez.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's did I freeze up?
No, I think James froze up there. Yeah, that's man, I still haven't ever caught a freaking 20-pound. Well, I've caught a couple 20-pound bags, but nothing over 20.
Yeah.
I could only imagine catching a 30-pound bag. It's freaking. Yeah, well, I'm in a kayak, so it's a little bit different. So
Yeah. Yeah, you're limited, but you can't run around the whole lake and
yeah.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
let's since he's restarting there, I guess. I mean, how long have you been fishing, Alex? I mean, I've known your name for many, 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 many years, and you
Yeah.
know,
I
where did you get started in, like, what drove that passion?
probably ooh, I've been fishing since I was like 5 or 6 and always fished. And even when we were a young teenage, like 12, 13, on spring break, we had to have my mom take me to the lake while she went to work, and we'd stay at the lake all day and fish. She'd come
Those
back.
were the days.
yeah,
Yeah, those were the days.
yeah. What kind of got me in tournaments was um, Tom Shockton years ago. He was the first guy to start Glory Hole Sports next to Malone.
Hmm.
Yeah. When I was a kid, I fished a few tournaments with him and did the local bass club, and that's what kind of got me into it. And then pretty much when I was like 19 or 20, I bought my first bass boat after that. And, after working like 2 years, saved enough money to buy a bass boat and then started fishing. And yeah, just after a while, you just start learning stuff and, and you observe patterns.
Hmm.
But yeah, I didn't start winning till probably when I was 24, 25. It took me 4 or 5 years to start
To
winning.
dial yourself in.
Yeah, dialed myself in, and then, but But we'd always catch fish. It was just never, we didn't realize
The right ones.
the right ones. We'd stay on these fish, little pound and a halfers, 2-pounders, and
Sure.
after a while we were like, now we catch one or two and we'll leave.
Yeah.
So
We'd
what
sit there, we'd catch them left and right. We'd catch like 30 of them.
what are you looking for to help determine what you would say is a big fish spot? Is there something special about it, or is it just right place, right time? What do you think
Yeah,
sets those spots apart?
it depends on time of the year. That's it all determines it. But let's say the winter time, any main lake point with steep sides on it, or has at least one steep side and then one gradual side, that's always a good spot.
I gotcha.
Yeah, and then if it has cover on it or nearby it, that's always another add. Something to add to it.
Now, are you looking for like more of a long tapering point, or like one side of it might have a steep break on it?
Long. Yes, you could say long, but it depends on any flat area. It seems to work.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just after a while, if doing it so long, you kind of, a lot of these lakes, I kind of get dialed in. There's always just a rotation I'll run and hit all of them. But
Okay.
yeah, it's just an experience. Yeah, it's just, I could tell you what to do, where, and sometimes it's better just to do it on yourself. And if you catch a swim bait fish, just, stop and look around and see what's there.
Yeah. No, I wasn't. Yeah, that's what I was curious. That's what all of our goal is, right? Is to find the 5 biggest fish we can. And I might be fishing a main lake point that's got some good cover on it. Like I said, has either a nice flat spot for them to come up and feed and a steep break, but maybe that's not the right point. The one that you're on is similar, but why? What do you think separates? Like, why would it make one a big fish spot as opposed to the other?
Yeah. Sometimes fish dictate where they want to swim and where they hold up. I've experienced it, where I've caught them in November on this one point for many years, and it hasn't produced in probably 6-7 years. It just then the water fluctuation adds some kind of screws with the fish patterns of where they move.
Yeah.
Some of these fish are born when the water was 200 feet down, and
that's crazy to think about that.
They don't, and they're kind of like salmon too. They spawn where they're born, and it takes them a while to learn, the lay of the land. They don't go back.
Yeah, I got you.
It's kind of that's the biggest thing. It kind of screws up if the water stayed consistent every year, it would probably be a whole lot better fishing.
Yeah, that's one thing we won't have is consistent water levels.
No, we won't.
Not in this state, we won't.
No.
Yeah, it's crazy to think about that, because Folsom was down, say it was at 380 something, and now it's over 420. So just in the last couple of months, it's come up 40 feet.
Yeah.
Shasta's come up a ton over the last month. Yeah. And going to continue to come up with the amount of rain we got coming. So
yeah, I think we're going to have to let some out. They're borderline full.
Oh, they are letting some out. I know Brian had to close the shop up at Reading because the river flows were coming up and threatening to flood the shop out on the river.
Yeah, it's crazy. It was. Yeah, one of the the day before the tournament on one bass, I was fishing this one creek, fishing moving water um, with chatterbaits and spinnerbaits, and um, I caught some decent ones doing it, threes, low threes, and I was like, well, I haven't had a fish, so I ran back there, and literally overnight, the moving water was coming in the lake probably 120 yards past where it was the day before.
It was
So,
fun, yeah.
yeah, and I could not get into it. There's too many trees, so that was kind of a downer. But
Yeah.
yeah,
That's definitely one thing about this time of year too is right navigating the what could be the floating timber and the whatnot floating down into the lake from being washed off the creeks and whatnot. So
yeah,
definitely need to look out for that.
yeah, yeah. And it was yeah, it was pretty cool seeing how it changes. It was really muddy, and then they say on the third day or fourth storm the water cleans up, and it kind of did actually cleaned up a little bit
Okay.
from day one of the tournament.
Yeah, because you guys had decent weather during the tournament though, right? It was practice that was rainy.
No, we never.
Or was it?
I'm trying to remember. Practice was pretty bad, especially the final day of the practice was really bad, and then the tournament day one was um, fairly nice. I'm trying to remember if it rained or not. I don't think it did rain, but it was overcast with some wind. But day two was probably pretty miserable.
There was raining on it. Okay, yeah, yeah. That's
Day
right.
two,
They don't go up there the weekdays. It's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I keep on forgetting
yeah.
that.
No, Thursday was nasty, and they
Yes.
they forecasted like it was going to start raining around 11:30 to noon, and literally around 7:45 or 8 it started raining.
Yeah.
And I usually wear the mechanics gloves when it rains, use those when I'm fishing, but I forgot them, and my hands were miserably cold.
That's the worst, dude. It's
That is
cold,
the worst.
cold hands and trying to retie baits. Especially I got big old fat fingers, so it's like
Yeah,
hard enough to tie stuff on as it is, and then when they're cold,
Yeah.
they don't work.
yeah, yeah. It's kind of rough. That was and then when we were coming in, it was snowing. That's how.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's cold.
That reminds me of the year we were up there in the kayak tournament, dude. Remember? A couple years back?
Dude, that's when
30
almost
something mile an hour winds.
yeah, that's when the house almost flooded and I did not go that year.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking
Shut
about.
down they shut down the pass and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would take if it would just snow. I would take that way over
Yeah.
that cold rain. I could deal with the snow, but that cold rain is
It's rough. Yeah, it
It
makes
is.
it
pretty
miserable.
brutal.
And dude, it's hard to see, man, and trying to run in that stuff too. You get that like almost like fog glare, but
Yeah.
it's rain and you're trying to run and you're like you
Yeah.
can't see a single thing.
I I had the face mask, but my vision is not that good in it, and there's too many big logs and stuff. I could not wear that. I was afraid of hitting a
But yeah,
big
it's not like
log.
that. It's like if they have like built-in windshield wipers or something on them because I was up.
I tried the Rain X and stuff, and it helps, but it
It
doesn't
does.
help.
I was gonna ask you because I noticed that when I was out in the rain and I was trying to run. And I'm like using my fingers to wipe the lenses off my goggles, and I'm like, dude, I still can't see a single thing.
Yeah,
I was wondering.
yeah. It's yeah. So the best that I usually just have to have at least like my face mask or the what do they call it? To cover most of your nose and face and kind of
Oh
screen
yeah.
your eyes, and you could that seemed to be the best vision. For
The
me,
one that hurts the
I
worst
don't
of those rains hitting your eyes, like, ow.
Yeah, the rain wasn't bad as the snow. When I was like, the raindrops hurt a little more, and then I looked up on the mountains and I seen all the snow, and I was like, oh, that's snow.
Funny. The joys of trying to run fast in the bass boat when it's miserable out.
Yeah, I don't run that fast. I just run it around 4,000 RPMs. I'm afraid of hitting a giant log.
So what do you do in foggy situations? Are you sitting at the ramp until it clears? Are you following tracks? Are you like, especially this time of year now after we've had big rain and there are big trees floating in the lakes?
Yeah, fog. Yeah, it depends. That's the one thing that scares me is fog. Navigating, especially on a highway. I've seen too many gnarly accidents. I'd probably wait or.
I was like my first time launching in the fog in the boat. We're idling out of the ramp, and I'm watching my icon on the map. I'm like, there's no way in hell I turned that way. Next thing you know, I was facing 180 heading back towards the ramp. I was like, dude, I don't even remember turning the boat that much. And like,
and then you always worry. I mean, if you're driving based off your graphs, you're always worried you're going to run into shore or whatever. Because I remember I was at Pedro. It was that day that the boat had the motor issue. It was that day. It was a foggy day, and I remember the guy in my partner is like, dude, turn, and we were just barely idling, but it comes up so quick because you can't see it.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's so disorienting in the fog. Like it's scary. It was more like I didn't get on it till the fog lifted. I was like, there's no way in hell. I ain't doing it.
Yeah. I even don't like to be out in the middle of the lake when it's foggy. I just I'll hug the shoreline and try to stay out of danger.
And then it's like it lifted, so we ran. And then I was going somewhere. I seen I got in another big old fog bank. And you're like, dude, this is just I'm done. I was done with it. I was like, I just want it to clear.
Yeah. No, I learned that kind of the first time when I had my boat. I was probably 19 or 20. We fished Hogan, and this is before GPS came out, and, on the graphs and whatnot. And I wanted to go towards Bear. I launched right there, and literally, I remember I was idling. I wasn't going fast, but I was just driving, idling, and I idled for like 20, 25 minutes. And the next thing I know, I kind of see a light, and I was like, "What the heck is that?" And I was back up the ramp. I thought I was going straight to Bear. I thought maybe I was at the dam or something. I saw a light.
It's crazy.
I was like, "Oh, I'm not too far off," but no, it is back at the ramp.
And even in the kayaks, though, too, guys. Like we're not talking just boat things, right? You're doing 5 miles an hour in a kayak. If you don't have a trail or you don't have anything to go off of, dude, the fog is so disorienting. It's not even fun. That was like the TOC we fished for Wild West 21 with all the duck hunters in the Thermalito After Bay.
Yeah.
And it was foggy as hell. And I'm like, I know I had a trail through this little like shallow spot. So I'm like glued to my map, just following that to make sure I didn't hit the ground. But it's crazy.
Yeah.
Then you hear, the shotgun shots going over your head. Like, God dang, I didn't even know there was a hunter back there. It was crazy. It was wild.
That was a crazy event.
My first TOC ever. That was like the first year I started fishing tournaments, and I was like, dude, this is nuts.
Probably not a good idea to book a tournament day on.
Yeah, no kidding.
And they were thick in there. Like every Thule Island seemed like there was a guy like, "Hey, get out of here!" Like, dude, oh my god. Yeah, it was wild. But man, hey, dude, I appreciate you jumping on the show and talking about.
Yeah, thank you, Alex.
Yeah, no problem.
I know we've kind of been all over the place, but that's cool to hear your perspective of Shasta, and I mean that's awesome, dude. A win for Bam to start the season off with a bang. That's amazing. Congrats on the hell of a comeback for the Wombass Open of Shasta. You know, dude, that's a hell of a feat, dude, to come back from 7-something on day one to have over 50 pounds and be in third place.
Yeah, no pressure either. You know, my money's on you for Pedro.
After day one, I was thinking that.
I said no pressure, but my money is on you for Pedro.
Oh man, I just better not come in 7 pounds.
Well, if you do, you might have to come back with 22 or 24 the next day, so they better watch out. For sure.
Hopefully my bad day is like a 15-pound bag. That's kind of
Pedro's.
But we'll see how the pitching is.
See, that's my dilemma, right? Pedro's an hour and 45 minutes away, and Clear Lake's 2 hours. So it's like, do I drive to Pedro or do I drive to Clear Lake? It's pretty obvious where I'm going to go.
Yeah.
But it's one of those lakes I do want to get out there some more and figure it out. But then again, it is like the curse of my boat that I own to go to Pedro. Right, Shane?
Right.
So it's got bad history on Pedro. Right when I thought I got it running right after buying it. I bought it from Shane. It died on him at Pedro.
Yeah.
It sat for as long as it did till I bought it. I thought I had it running right. Took it out to Pedro, and I was far off from having it run right. So I'm like, dude, I don't even know if I want to go back there anymore.
Died on me out past Graveyard. Well past Graveyard, and I had to use the trolling motor all the way back to Fleming. In the fog, ice cold.
Uphill both ways, barefoot.
Yeah.
So I will get back on the Pedro, but it's one of those lakes where it's like the curse of this boat.
Nah, man, you'll be fine.
I know. But dude, yeah, man, we'll be following. We're rooting for you coming up here at the end of the month.
Yeah. Say hi to Clara for us.
Yeah. Right. Hopefully maybe
Thank
fishing
you.
a few AVAs this year. I'm hoping.
Nice.
See what happens. But
yeah. See how one next
month.
And
that dude I was at Clear Lake on Saturday. Totally did not even realize there was one going on. I mean, I didn't have anywhere near a 30-pound bag, but I was like, man, I wish I would have known that. I would have actually fished that one. I would have rolled it solo, but
yeah, she wanted me to fish it, but I was too tired. I slept in.
I don't blame you.
That's
a long weekend for Shasta getting miserable with the rain. I'm hoping Clear Lake doesn't come up too much this weekend because I still want to go back up. But 8.5 feet, they pretty much shut the ramps down, I was told. And it's because
oh really?
I guess at 8.5 you can. It's idle only on the whole lake, and a lot of the ramps will close down because the docks will be up too high. It'll break the pins that hold the docks to the shore. So we'll see what happens. I was planning on spending the weekend up there, but we'll see.
Yeah, hopefully it stays down.
Right under 8 foot right now. I've been watching it. It's not moving very fast. I guess those floodgates, they can't let out a whole lot on the dam. So
yeah.
Right on. All right, you guys.
Right on.
Shane.
Yo.
Discount codes. Let the people know where and what.
So you got Hooked 44 for hook, bait, and tackle online.
All capitals.
What's that?
All caps. Hooked.
Yeah, all caps. Hooked 44.
44.
BioInno has a 10%. Use 10 TEN for your 10% off, and then it's Anglers RX 10 for first gen fishing.
10% off the first gen. So, guys, go check it out. Get some cool stuff. Help support those that support this show. Make it happen. Always don't forget about Headwaters Venture Company. Brian is the reason why we do this show, and they are the reason why we have this platform. So,
Yeah.
huge shout out to them. Thanks, guys. And next week we will be joined by Marv. We're talking native big pass power hour at Clear Lake at the end of March.
Possibly
So,
the biggest tournament of the year for California.
if it's anything like it was last year, it will be the biggest tournament of the year.
Yeah.
So, guys, stay tuned. We're going to catch up with Marv next week and talk about that. And we will catch you all later.